Let's start with you, Asthika. In terms of the political risk that has suddenly popped up with Hillary Clinton's tweet about looking into drug pricing, was that an excuse for people to take some profits on what's been a very profitable momentum trade, or is that a genuine political risk here?
I think there was definitely some profit taking, but the question is this really a political risk? Yes, there's a lot of hoopla about it, a lot of noise about it. Can it actually materialize into something? And that's why we think it's more headline risk than actually going to come out into something in the future. For Hillary to actually implement, if she wins the election, she's going to have to get a Democratic House in place, and she's going to get need a lot of political support to make this fly.
JC, Asthika actually had a great chart out from Bloomberg Intelligence kind of showing what has happened in the last biotech sell-offs and how they actually have been fleeting. There's nothing fundamental. So is this the time where you kind of want to just white-knuckle it and buy, or do you need to let this shake out a lot more?
Well, when you look at the technicals, right, technical study trend and momentum, trends have obviously changed. They're pretty weak, or they're definitely slowing. Momentum recently has definitely been negative. So it comes to sentiment, and I think sentiment is a huge factor, especially in this story, right? So if you look, the tweet by Hillary wasn't a knockout. It was just a step back. It was some headwinds into the biotech space, right? If you look at human activity, it's the same thing over and over and over again. And as you alluded to, if you look back in March, we saw the same thing happen. Congress put out a letter, and they said we're going to start, looking at, pricing of a certain drug. And what happened? Biotech sold off 20%. If you waited 2 months, you would have got in at the bottom, and you would have ran up another 80%. So history repeats itself, and I believe this is something very, very similar, especially if you take a longer step back to 2011. We're still in a giant uptrend. I mean, biotech stocks are up 4% on average this year. The S&P is down 4%. So it's an outperformer. It's not like energy where the market's up and energy is getting crushed. This is purely, taking one step back before we regain momentum to move higher.
Well, pricing power is one of the biggest attributes of these biotech names, that and the growth prospects, Asthika. What else do investors really, what else are they willing to pay a premium for when it comes to this sector?
It's all about science, right, Scarlett? Because right now we're going through what I would classify as almost a scientific revolution. What we did in the last 5 years far outpaces what we've done in the last century in terms of growth, in terms of developments. There are a lot of companies out there, especially some of the younger biotechs, that are really on the cutting edge of that. On the other side of it, even the bigger biotechs, the companies like your Gileads, the Celgenes, the Amgens, Biogens, etc., they have essentially owned their disease space, and now they're broadening out. You look at the analyst estimates for these companies, they're looking very good going up to 2019 on all these companies, double-digit top line and bottom line growth.